This is probably a month and a half worth of thrifting for spooky tees, shorts, and jean skirts. Everything that I wanted to have ready for my summer wardrobe because I like to do a little refresher, find some new pieces to add to it. My pile has just gotten a little crazy. Normally I'll do like 3 or 4 pieces at a time. What I've been doing with my tees lately is crocheting into the sleeves. However, in order to get to that point, I need to make the little puncture holes on the edge of the sleeves so I can actually crochet into that. Which is why it's all just been sitting here, because I just need to spend a hot second in my sewing room, get the t-shirts all assembled, ready to go. They are all washed and dried just to make sure the t-shirt is the way it is, like it's not going to shrink by any means. A lot of these that I get are 100% cotton, and I mean, since it's thrifted, I don't really know, was it thrown through the dryer or not? This one I've had for a little while. I think this is the start of my pile. Maybe it's been longer than a month and a half. We're gonna get into it. Oh yeah, Attack on Titans. I love thrifting. All the little horror goodies that you can find. For the skirts, I'm planning on doing something on the pocket, maybe like a crochet skeleton embellishment. And then on the bottom, I'm gonna make the holes so I can crochet onto this. Haven't decided if I'm gonna do this exact design or if I'm gonna make it a little bit longer, maybe use a triple crochet instead of a double, but we'll get there when we get there. First things first, let's head down to my sewing room, get all these items prepped and ready to have some crochet added to them. I don't normally iron the t-shirts if they lay on top of each other nicely. There, just like that, because I am going to go through both sides at the same time with my perforated rotary cutter. So that's what actually makes the little holes into the t-shirt, as compared to my other one that would just cut the fabric off. So I'm going to line it up on here, get that nice and straight, then use my other ruler, and I'm only going to go into the t-shirt a little ways. Since I am using a 5mm or even a 4.5 sometimes, I don't want to get too far into the fabric, otherwise the stitch will be off a little bit. Okay, that looks better. Perfect. Now I'm going to run across it like 2 times. Okay, 3, just to make sure it actually cut all the way through it. Sometimes right there, there's a lot of fabric. And if everything went well, yay! Okay, perfect. Now you can see I have these little holes. And if it's not totally perfect from like one side to the other, it doesn't bother me. I like the distressed look on it. As long as I can crochet into it, that's really the main factors. Okay, perfect. This one is done. Heck yeah, witch's brew. For the jean material, it is a little bit trickier just since it's like super thick. Well, this one isn't too terrible. The other one, when it's like folded over, sometimes this isn't enough to go all the way through it, so I'll have to grab this leather tool. But let's just see what this does first. Since there's a little bit of curl onto this, I think I am gonna iron this one just to give it a little more crisp line. Like this side is fine, but right here, it's curving up a little bit. Since this one is a little thick, I am just gonna go through one piece at a time. This one was a lot easier to do, even though there were still some spots that it'll like skip sometimes, so I don't have a perfect line all the way across it, so I am gonna have to use that tool. That's okay though. Just remembered that I have some granny squares that I already crocheted for projects that it just didn't work out with them, but I saved them, including these slimy green squares, so I'm gonna sew this on the back of this skirt since there are already pockets. I just need to be really careful. I've definitely done that before where I sewed this entire thing on and then I closed up the pocket. I'm gonna do the top first and then sew the rest of it. That's what I love about granny squares. If I end up making some extra, which I always do for every single project, or like they're just really fun to sit down, make on the go, I'll always find something to use them for. The yarn that I like to use for this is an anti-pilling yarn. I mean, it's wearable, so I'm gonna throw it in the wash quite often. This is the Big Twist Living yarn. It's 100% anti-pilling acrylic. It holds up really well, so I use this quite often. If I'm gonna put it on a piece that I know there's a lot of wear and tear that's gonna happen with it, I use a Red Heart Super Saver. It's not the softest thing in the world, but I know it's gonna do what I need it to do, and eventually it'll get softer over time. And this one does say you can throw it in the wash and the dryer, so that's a nice option. 100% acrylic Big Twist value yarn I use a lot just because, I mean, slime green. I love the color, so I'm gonna work around it. This one is machine washable, but obviously don't tumble dry, don't iron, don't bleach, lay flat to dry type of thing. Also, it's a very fluffy yarn. I think that's what I have on right now, actually. Wear and tear is gonna happen on it, but I love the color, so I will go out of my way to kind of work around it. For today, I am gonna do Big Twist Value, the Goosebumps, slime green. That one has to have, okay, let's start a little pile. Slime green. Yeah, I think pretty much all the rest of these, I just want to have black on it. This one's really cool. Medusa. Definitely a black for this. I am going to use a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. Even though this medium number 4 weight yarn says to use a 5, I want to give it as much space as possible, like a little bit more room in between each stitch. Starting at the bottom of the sleeve, I'm going to attach the yarn onto my hook. Then slip stitch into one of these first holes. And you can see here, since this was folded over, there's like a couple of them that are pretty close to each other. So I'm just going to start with this one here. For this type of stitch, I need to have an even amount of stitches. So as I get closer to the end, I'm just going to count them. And if I have an odd number of stitches, I'll just place 2 double crochet inside the same stitch. Then chain 3. And inside that first stitch, 1 double crochet. In each space that I've created, I'm going to place 1 double crochet. And here I've got to a spot where there should be a space for me to crochet into, but it didn't cut all the way through. So I'm going to use this tool. It's used for leather working. I found that it works really well in creating a new space. I just go almost to the end there. Then just keep doing my 1 double crochet in each of these spaces. Okay, now I'm just going to count and make sure that I have an even number here. And I don't. I have 35. So 1 more double crochet in this last space. Then in the top of this first double crochet that I created, I'm going to place a slip stitch to close up the first row. For the second row, chain 4. I'm not going to be working into this first double crochet underneath, but the next one I'm going to place a double crochet, chain 1, skip 1 stitch, and in the following place 1 double crochet. And then I'm going to follow that all the way around. Again, chaining 1, skipping 1 stitch, and placing a double crochet into the following stitch. Now that I'm at the last stitch, I'm going to chain 1, then working into the top of the 3rd chain, placing 1 slip stitch. Now I'm just going to keep repeating row number 2 as many times as I want. Normally I just do it 2 more times. So again, chaining 4, skipping this first spot and working into the top of the next double crochet, 1 double crochet. Chain 1, the top of the next double crochet, 1 double crochet. I've made it through my final row, and I'm just going to do the last slip stitch to connect it. Grab a pair of scissors and cut this working yarn. Pull that through, and now I just need to weave in both of these ends. Now I just need to do this whole process all over on the other sleeve. But how freaking cool is that? Incredibly excited with how this entire outfit turned out. Initially, I was expecting these 2 pieces to be separate, but it's that slimy green yarn. It pulls it all together, and like, this is the outfit of the day. So yeah, that's how I go about adding a little bit of crochet to every piece in my wardrobe without spending hours and hours on every single item. I mean, like these t-shirts, I can get quite a few of these done just in one setting. Let me know if you're gonna incorporate this into your own wardrobe, and also if you want to see some different stitches on t-shirt sleeves. This for me is just my favorite. It's my go-to. Pretty much all of my t-shirts have this exact stitch, but I definitely would love to play around with some other stitches as well. So let me know your favorite one, what you want to see next. For now, I'm gonna let you go. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I will see you in my next video.